Hey there! Today I'm going to talk about my experience with reading. But before we start the video...
But the video is already started.
Shut up, dude. So before we start the video, I want to put it out there that this channel is not about books. I just wanted to make this video. So growing up, I always thought of books as something boring. It wasn't the easiest for me to get into reading, to be honest. Well, you couldn't really blame me. I had never read a real book back then, and the school books weren't any interesting after all.
Or are you a student trying to study, dude?
Well, you could say that. I did have some encyclopedias though, which I just opened for the sake of saying I'm reading. Well, it's embarrassing, I know. So one day, I don't know exactly when it was, maybe it was around when I was in 7th standard. My family and I went to this place X. And it was around 9 p.m. there. I saw a street vendor selling books. And I bought The Leader in You by Dale Carnegie. I don't even know why I bought that book. Maybe it was the simple cover. It was a blue simple cover. If I'm being honest, it's not that I didn't read the book. But I read it for maybe air quotes showing that I read.
How attention-seeking can you be?
Well, what do you expect? I was a kid. So yeah, I basically did a speedrun of the book. I don't even remember what it was about. But yeah, that was the starting. Then around the time I was in 9th grade, my mother gave me a novel. It was Mother by Maxim Gorky. You see what I did there? It's almost a pun. It counts, right? Didn't pay much attention to it at the time, but I started reading it. Well, I didn't read it in English, it was translated to my native language. Well, it was quite enjoyable for me, but I wasn't consistent with it.
As you aren't with a lot of things, dude.
So, I lost track of the story because I always read at weirdly irregular intervals. And then I had my exams, so I couldn't ever complete it. So around midway through 10th standard, I simply had the urge to read something. I don't know why, but I simply had the urge. At home, we had those collective editions. You might know what are those. Like, these are the books which contain multiple books. So one of those collective editions I had An Irish Country Courtship by Patrick Taylor. Well, as it was a collective edition, it wasn't even the full book. But I didn't know back then. I read the book by Patrick Taylor, An Irish Country Courtship, because I saw adult and romance written in the genre together.
I'm so down bad, dude. What the fuck?
Well, what do you expect from a teenager? So around 11th standard, I got into my quote-unquote self-improvement phase. Damn, it's embarrassing talking about it now, I know. So I got kind of deep into it and I got interested in psychology and I bought The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. It was great, really. But if you haven't read any books right now, or you're a beginner, I request you, please do not start with the self-improvement books. The self-improvement books get really boring, especially for the beginners. You might actually end up labeling all the books as boring, so please do not start with the self-improvement books. But of course, that's just my opinion. You can do whatever you want. So around at the starting of the 12th grade, my cousin recommended me The Picture of the Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. It was a fantastic read, dude. I mean, it held me to the end. The vocabulary was, but it was kind of overwhelming.
Oh, you're just dumb, dude.
Shut up. Well, that book made me realize that I like philosophy. Then after reading that, I read 1984 by George Orwell. Well, I like dark stuff too. Well, the book was really different from what I had already read. I felt the depiction was realistic. And I love how 1984 is such a misleading title. Most people think it's about the year 1984. Well, technically they aren't wrong, but they never guess it as a fiction, moreover science fiction. It was a great book. So, I guess I've read a few books. And, well, I'm still a newbie and I've got a lot of books to read. My recent read was Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Although short, it was great. A great piece of literature, I would say.
Are you trying to sound intelligent?
Lastly, if you haven't read any books, I totally recommend you to do so. And once again, this channel is not about books, like a game and stuff too, but I might not post gaming here, to be honest. But I'll try my absolute best to make my content enjoyable for you all. If you like the video, subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in another video.